Hello, Ahoma Takiwasen, all my relations. Welcome home, my family. As some of you may know, my love language at times can be the love language of gift giving. This is the main way my father has always shown me affection. My papi, he has always provided for me, and so this has become a love language that is very dear to my heart. It's a physical representation of affection, and when I had the honor of reading the book, The 5 Love Languages, in that book, the story of receiving gifts is just so beautiful, especially explaining from a cultural standpoint. And I really, really resonated with that story, and it's very imprinted in my mind and in my heart. So I found an irony, okay? So I'd like to give a shout out to Thomas. And Thomas, I did see your comment, and so I waited. Once I have received, I've waited to create this, to have this I'd like to call it a sacred communion where we're like experiencing this together. And I'm kind of excited to show you this because it's very funny and ironic. And I have a personal belief system that our creator is a comedian. And so it says, "Oh my God." I understand that there's like other jokes in there. So, oh my God. Thank you. I'm going to be able to use this on my upcoming adventure, and again, I still have no idea where my other one is. It looks like this one comes with 2, and it even comes with a lanyard, so I'm gonna have some fun playing with this and exploring options for this. It's mentioning the temperature, and it's not necessarily saying it's, oh, actually it does. It says it's good for underwater photos and videos. Very cool. I'm gonna have to play with this outside of water before experiencing. Also, I'm not sure if this is going to work. I will confess, I think I said that very clearly in the video when I communicated what my personal needs are at this time in order to, continue growing and going in this exploration of creating content, especially traveling content. And it has like these wipes and this mounty thingy, and it looks like kind of like, oh, it's actually a sticky thingy. All right, so again, more play is going to be necessary and like little trial and error. I think I'm gonna wait until daytime. I'm also gonna have to review the instructions to appropriately do that correctly. I'm kind of sleepy. It's about maybe 9:15 p.m. here. I also see that you chose this mascara off my wish list, and I saw it at the grocery store and I was like, oh, I kind of want that. However, I was guided to be more, my ego says, intelligent with my finances at this time, and I'm very excited to get to try this. I'm gonna have a bright blue mascara, so that's very exciting. Very, very exciting. I don't know how cool it'll look in real life, but the idea of it was really cool. So thank you for the opportunity of being able to play. And even though I'm 31 years old, I'm still like super like, little kid, excited to try a colorful mascara. I've seen pictures of girls using different colors. And I recently had the experience of seeing a woman in real life wearing white mascara, and it was super duper cool looking. Also, I couldn't help but get super duper 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 excited that this was in the box. And I don't know if it's going to look as good as the crayons did, if anyone has seen my playlist, Underwater at the Movies, my movie reviews of underwater scenes, we did some amazing drawings, and so I have a bunch of different ideas for this, and this is mainly for teaching lessons also. However, I have the idea of potentially using it for the other option. However, again, self-exploration will only know by trial and error, and without you choosing to create this opportunity, that might not be possible. And last but not least, I know what this is, and I'm kind of excited. There's a note. It's like untouched, so let us open it. Enjoy your gift. Yes! Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my god, how do we open this guy? Oh my god, this is, if I'm 100% honest, I'm gonna tell you that this is my most exciting thing. The other stuff are toys and playful, and they might end up being really awesome toys, right? But oh my god, I saw this, and oh my god, this one is so much bigger than like the other ones I've had before. Oh, look at this. This is so intense. Oh my god. It's so look. It's like gymongous. So very exciting. It's also laminated, so it'll be like protected from water. So that's really cool. And look, it even starts in June. So it'll be perfect. Says, do what you have to do until you can do what you want to do. Oprah Winfrey quote. See, this will be fun. I really love being colorful. I also love making notes and managing my time in this way. Oh, this is gonna be so much fun to use. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I totally am very excited. It even has this little binder thingy or ruler like my other one had, which is also very exciting. It's also very pretty. It's so pretty. I'm excited to use my colorful markers and pens and things. And look, this one comes with stickers too. And yes, I definitely love this. Oh, look, this one has like a lot of stickers. Look at this. It's like a whole pack of stickers. I love stationery stuff. That's like my new thing. Or maybe like, I want to make jokes how it's always been my thing, but like I'm just now being vocal about it. Let me see. I also am going to check, because sometimes there's other really amazing handwritten notes. And as you know, also another love language is definitely the affirmation, words of affirmation. And they all say, enjoy your gift, which is totally okay because Thomas actually left a handwritten note on YouTube. And again, like completely amazed and very happy and grateful. So thank you very much. Wow. And then part of my excitement is like also imagining like there's jokes here of like future outcomes of like, okay, well, if I can have anything I want in the world, then I want this like that little kid feeling. And then one of those things on that list is actually, can we have a puppy with a big red bow tie? And can I officially have you know, things like that. And not that material things really bring happiness, although having a puppy in your life is definitely something that can bring a lot of joy and affection. However, that's also a big responsibility, so I don't know if I'm really ready for that right now. But again, thank you for, again, making these wishes come true, because it creates this wonderment of like, wow, if I can have anything I want, then maybe I should be more intelligent of what I would like to have, like going to school, or I really suddenly love Free People brand, or realize this about me and I really like their clothes and I would like to have more of their wardrobe, or ooh, I need a new pair of shoes and I just found these really colorful ones. And just like silliness like this but again, like, also, I feel like part of that expression is also like part of the like, oh my God, I can't believe this. And it's almost like a feeling of like unworthiness, of like, oh my God. But also like overwhelming feelings, like, oh my God, God, you love me so much. I'm like, this was really important to me. It's special to me. And then like, like being overwhelmed with just like love and joy, and like flooding emotions of like how you always take care of me, and how you care for me. And it's just like, oh my God, it's so overwhelming how much you love me, and like things like that. So this is my transparency. While I'm here, I feel like I might as well go into like another dimensional aspect of my personal experiences lately. Might as well add like a little video journaling. So I recently had this experience with my mom, and it was very impactful. And I'm not even fully sure how I want to even talk about this experience. And part of me is wondering if like it's better to just like not even communicate about this at all. So perhaps I'll just like leave it at that for now. And it was very harsh, and I want to say brutal, and it ended up leading to having a experience on the exact same day that all of this happened, where I had a slip and fall accident. I slipped in the bathroom with my shoes on some puddle of water, typical Trina, you could say, leaving water on the bathroom floor. I slipped and I fell and I hit the bathtub, and it impacted my ribs and my hip, and it was so shocking. It kind of brought me back to a traumatic experience that I had when I shattered my ankle and I was in complete shock. And also, I wasn't sure if I broke something, and even if my rib is having a crack or fracture or any experience, apparently there's nothing they can do. And so I'm just like going through with the motions, and I don't think that there's anything like severely wrong. It just kind of hurts under like certain conditions, like breathing doesn't hurt. Maybe if I take like full breath, it's like not as sensitive as it was. Like a couple days have passed, and the hip is just like really bruised. But at first, again, it was like these multitudes of events, and then like there's other dimensions of other aspects of this, of like where other people have witnessed the experience with my mom, and then so many different aspects of this. I think it might I don't know. I'm just processing everything that happened still, and there's still even a little shock over that as well. And however, this experience coming up has really helped me map the territory of my childhood and my childhood experiences. And I have a lot of sympathy and passion for myself, of like these are really complex things, you know, that like a little kid couldn't really comprehend all the different aspects of like human nature and human behavior. And now as an adult, I have an education in internal family systems, so I'm able to understand all the different parts and different selves that are expressing the self, and that it's not like just exclusive to people who have like different diagnosed mental conditions, but that every single person has multiple selves and different characters that come on stage, such as the mother, the doctor, the healer, the teacher, the judge, the witness, and things of that nature. And sometimes I just want to come here and be in silence, and to represent this form of meditation, of just like sitting with the emotion. And sometimes it is part of my protocol that I'm naming the emotion. However, other times I'm certainly guilty or known, God knows me, that I have done dissociation and compartmentalization. However, in my practice of mindfulness, I'm able to actually like recognize and be fully present, and recognize when I'm attempting to experience escapism, and to be really watchful of this. So instead of monkey mind taking over and eating unconsciously because I'm not feeling super happy, I can see, oh, I don't feel very good, so I'm seeking to feel better through indulging in pleasure in this way, or I'm expecting pleasure to come from this thing, so I'm behaving this way. We could make jokes and examples of like, oh, I thought having this thing would make me super duper happy, and now that I have this, right, it's like I'm a little overwhelmed. I don't even know how it works. I don't know how to put it together, and I don't even know if it's going to work for what I wanted to do, and I don't know if it'll be a right fit for my car, and I can just kind of pray about it and just like, wait for that time to come. And then even then it's kind of a learning experience, right? Because I've never had one of these things before, and so I have to learn and teach myself and to go through all those different processes instead of being codependent and expecting somebody else to do everything for me. And there's like this interesting balance for me personally of like, where do I draw the lines of like these personal boundaries, and then I get to have the fun of kind of like creating those for myself. And I'd like to cover on which level I was attempting to communicate about. It's where like the boundary of like, or just the dimensions, or it's kind of hard to talk about, the balance between being a complete, total, self-reliable individual, being completely independent and just like not needing anybody for anything at all whatsoever, versus like feeling safe to delegate tasks and communicate my need and my personal struggle and like what's going on. And then like somewhere in the middle, right, there's like this like aspect of like absolute truth of like, yes, I can do all this by myself, but I totally will love help with this, or like things like this. And then sometimes it's like the way flip side over here is that I can't do this on my own, and I really need help in leadership and education, or like whatever is missing, right? Like I'm missing the tools, or I don't know this, versus like, oh, I feel super secure and adequate in this area, and I can get this job done, and I'm really good at this, and I'm really amazing at this, and I love to do this, and I don't really want to do this, and I don't even know what I'm doing. like the different aspects. And like I recognize that we all go through that. However, for me, when I'm in that state that I have no idea what I'm doing, the unknown and the challenges and like the sense of confusion, meaning like there's all this great mystery of like, and then like learning the hard way and going through that experience and things like that. I guess in order to wrap this up, I will go to one more aspect, and it's like learning how to walk this out and to work this out after I've already made like select mistakes. For example, my mom. Like, I feel like I should just like go into it at this point. So I guess I'll just like go into it a little bit, okay? So I created this video, this content that's like very educational about like what is sex work, because there was a time where I did not know that what I was doing, being a webcam girl, counted as being a sex worker. I had no idea whatsoever. Nobody told me anything, right? So like that was deceit. Someone told me that was deceitful, that like nobody told me anything. And it's okay. It's completely okay. And then like basically I created this video implying that like my interest in helping individuals who are currently in the industry and they want to stay, right? Or like they love it, etc. However, there's a lot of complications or dynamics that come with it that kind of can make it like, oh, I don't have anyone to talk to about this, or like peer support, or like, you can't always talk to other people who are in the industry. And sometimes that's an alternate reality too, because some individuals who are in the industry are like cliquey, right? Like they have all these different groups and they meet at different events and things like this, and there's community like that sense. And I'm also interested in being a person that kind of speaks on what my personal experience was like in that transition, and the awarenesses and the things that came with it, including like cyber stalkers and individuals seeking to do doxing and like really messing around with my mind and seeking to suggest information to me and things like this, and then having to exercise personal boundaries from being in these atmospheres. And so I mentioned like the relational abuse, meaning like let's say an individual chooses to get in the industry and then suddenly their parent won't talk to them anymore because of what they've done, or siblings, or even friends and things like this. And then also like the verbal stuff, like BB do this and things like this, and I try to make it as professional as possible because I thought it was really important to kind of be really diligent in what I was doing, or like sophisticated, or I don't even know how to talk about like what my intentions were, but I basically wrote a script for exactly what I wanted to say. And I was tempted to just like read it and not show my face, but I also felt like it was very important to just be like transparent and authentic. And so like I took the time to like really rehearse this, just like I've done like doing like scripts for like professional gigs, like as like a model and an actress and entertainment and stuff like this. And so like I tried to like memorize this script, and I like was so proud because I was like, oh my god, yes, I can't believe I did this. It took me like 4 days. I like knocked this out, and it was a little bit less than that, but I literally did like so many takes, like trying to get this thing just right. And then like I'm like distributing this content in all these different portals and different social medias, and my mother comes across it and starts laughing. And then my mom is basically discounting my experience and saying that I'm lying, that I was a person who experienced sexual abuse when I was 16 years old. And which surfaced up like all these childhood wounds where like my mom didn't believe me, didn't allow me my own identity, and controlled me and tried to tell me what to do. And I had a lot of rebellion and a lot of upset, anger, guilt, disappointment, shame, like feeling like I could never make up. And so like I kind of told my mom, like, Mom, I'm done. Like I didn't want to communicate anymore. I wanted a healthy boundary. And so like she wasn't like available, you could say. Like she didn't respond. And so like I also wasn't in a space to like really communicate. And so like I was so upset the fact that my mom was like publicly laughing at me on my content, right? And like this is so nonsense, really. Like imagine if there was no artificial intelligence and this wasn't even happening. Like I have no ability to communicate with my mom whatsoever. Like I'm in a completely safe space now, and like there's no way for there to be communication outside of this algorithm. And so like I started to study what's called the mother wound, and I started to like look deeply, and like I started to get really passionate about like what I was learning. And then it made me want to one of my love languages too is like gift giving, right? So I wanted to gift this information. I wanted to info dump and to share this information and be like, oh my god, look at this, because I felt like all of the information that I was reading was just like so realistic of what my experience was. And then so I posted this, and then my mom also comments on this, lies, ha ha ha, says like all these like really hard to deal with comments. And then also again publicly, and then like discounting, saying that I was never abused, doesn't count emotional abuse, as this says that because her mother treated her way worse, and she would never tell anyone that her mom did because she honors her mom. Like does all these posts against me and all these things. And then her friends are getting up on the bandwagon saying that this never happened to me. And then like I end up having the slip and fall experience like a few hours later. And then like prior to this, I went to my friend's house and I sat in a sauna and like was attempting to like purge and get all of this energy out and start to feel good again. And then I slipped and I fell, and then I kind of created content about that too, kind of like journaling, because like I wasn't telling the story on my Instagram of like all the other things that were happening on Facebook and things like this, right? And then my mom on that post starts commenting how much she loves me and my poor baby. And like meanwhile she deletes her comments on the mother post. So it's like there's all this like dissociation and like lack of integration and things like this. And so it was like very overwhelming for me to deal with this. And then I decided to create another communication. I made it very clear, because now multiple people were coming at me because of what my mom was communicating, and people were screenshotting what my mother said. Do you hear how drama this is? This is just so toxic and disgusting. These are like some of the main reasons that I would encourage anyone, like if you choose to be like in the general public, like you might not want to be in the general public because of like, these are just some things that happen, and some people like really enjoy and like thrive on these kinds of things. And these are just some dynamics that are just like never really spoken about like publicly. You know, it's like kind of known, like when you see the paparazzi harassing certain celebrities, right? And we kind of know about some things like about MK Ultra and different brainwashing circumstances that happen to certain individuals who are in the industry, especially after experiencing certain abuses and all of those taking advantage of other people's circumstances, right? And then it's just been challenging to keep like navigating this. And then like someone trolled me by creating a no image account, and they were screenshotting what my mom said and accusing me of being the like the abuser to my mom. And then like this has me super deeply reflecting at myself and being like, okay, like which parts of this is actually true, and having like the ability to go there in myself of like, okay, I was kind of abusive to my mom in the way that I talked to her and I ridiculed her, and recognizing she has a mental health issue and that she is on disability and incapable of being there fully present, emotionally available, etc. And so like my behavior and my responses and my reactions to aren't the most loving over the generations of my time. And basically I repent and I confess, and you know, I choose not to be that person anymore. I don't want to hurt my mom. And then even in the present moment, at that moment, I still felt a sense of just like being a person who has expectation for her to come with me to have family counseling, so that there can be like unison in this beautiful process before she goes home and returns to God, like in her transition process, because she currently has COPD and all these different things, which is also very challenging. And then also she's saying that Trina's mom died today, I'm no longer your mother, and says like some of these like really emotionally impactful things. And like I'm a person that I've learned from my personal experience, when I show a lot of emotion, like a lot of people will fall away. So like I've learned to just keep my composure and to like do my best to just like hold it all together. And like part of that is also a shadow or dark, right? Because like I'm also neglecting my own personal emotions and my well-being, and discounting what's really going on, which can also create different challenges in the self-expression, because it's like I'm not honoring my truth. So now I'm attempting to honor my truth, and sometimes it's also challenging to even appropriately map reality, right? Like how do you properly discuss even like what happened between me and my mom? Like, and like, is there any repair after this rupture? Because she's currently saying, my mom is currently saying that she will never forgive me. She will never forgive me because I posted on Facebook. Like, to me, this just sounds silly and kind of insane, like super insane because of Facebook. Like, this is insane. I shared some information on the mother wound. I'd never directly said anything against my own mother. I recognize that it can be implied, and then things just kind of got out of hand because there was charges at me, and I am not Jesus Christ. I'm not Yeshua. I'm not a saint, and I'm doing my best to be a really good person. And at the same time, like not having a mom and feeling like you're losing your mom and like all these things are like so superiorly painful. And then like not having a network to really go to, right? Like unconsciously anyway, if that makes sense. Like because I communicated about this, now people have come out to me and said, hey, I have this wound too, and this is how I deal with it. And kind of like experiencing that has helped too. However, I'm still attempting to hear my own personal internal voice, like how to assess and how to manage these emotions. And it's been very interesting. And in some levels, I am feeling like shameful for like how I feel. Like when I feel guilt that I even communicated about the mother wound, and that it like cost me like my mom to subtract herself from my life completely. So it's hard because again, like she does these things like where she'll completely leave and like not talk to me and like get really vicious versus like smothering me in love. And so at times I'm longing for the love, for the smothering love, like petting and telling me I'm pretty and that I'm wonderful, etc. But then like I have learned, and I am like reprogramming my brain to like not be afraid of love. Like that feeling of love and touch, like that has become the most like terrifying thing. And I recognize it's not just because of my childhood with my mom. It's also from like past relationships of like being lied to and cheated, and like the spectrum of that. And then also like loving those with health conditions, right? And like fearing the loss of their lives. And so the feeling of love is like, oh my God, my feeling of love also comes with this extreme loss. And so like I'm very empathetic to that whole experience, and just like attempting to navigate this whole human experience like the best that I can, especially after the repercussions of all the other things that I've just talked about. Like this is just the tip of the iceberg of these things, and I'm interested in communicating more effectively on some of these things. However, I'm just like not really in the greatest place to kind of like speak to this in like a professional way. And professional way meaning like I'm interested in being more fruitful, or perhaps the authenticity is much better instead of like hiding tears. I would like to be able to talk about it without the tears and to just speak about this in like a sophisticated manner. However, at the time, like this wound is like kind of like fresh. But I still have like hope and courage and bravery that like my mom will come around, and that perhaps we'll get to have like a talk with like, I want to say a mediator, right? Like someone in the middle that can kind of like see both parties. And hopefully she'll have a willingness to do this, because like there's like so much healing for me. Like it's selfish, right? There's so much healing for me that like could happen if like there could be some kind of reciprocity, like where we both take accountability of like, Mom, I said some things I really wish I never said to you my entire life. I'm sorry that it offended you that I would call other people mom when I was a little kid. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I was upset with you for the choices that you made and the things that you did. I'm sorry that I judged you so critically. Like being able to be like that, like to go really into it. And then like to have the reciprocity, right? Where she's like, hey, I recognize that I did this thing, that maybe I shouldn't have done this in front of you, or maybe I shouldn't have said you were lying, or like right, like just any of that. However, like right now in my process, and like as in millions of people have to go through this experience also too, right? Of like, oh, well, that other person isn't going to say Ho'oponopono. They're not going to say, I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you. They're not going to do the Ho'oponopono to me consciously to my face. So I'm having to forgive myself and the individual, accepting what is as it is. And so this is very clearly trauma. And it's interesting too, because I have healed so much from so many different layers of trauma. And so like this is kind of like the root of the bottom, right? Of like wanting to be held like constantly, but also totally needing like independence and really struggling with the attachment, right? Of like not trusting and feeling like the attachment is safe and secure, and therefore wanting to like maintain independence. And I've read about this in a couple different books, like where the child will start to branch away from the parent, but needs to be able to see the parent so that anytime the child self can like run back to the parent. And I'm really most interested in learning about trauma that happened at infancy, like all the pre-verbal traumas. So I've been like on a hunt for like any type of books or documents that are kind of exploring into this. And so far, I haven't really had a whole lot of success in looking for the particular information and data that I'm looking for. However, I have spoken with professionals who have been in this line of like healing child abuse specifically, especially like neglect and abandonment, and then also families of borderline personality disorder, which is a key disorder in ancestral sexual abuse. And so for me, this stuff is very, very fascinating. And I've learned that as I heal myself, I'm healing several generations. However, again, just to be in the process of like, it's like a cycle, right? It's like renunciation of like, oh my God, I choose to no longer engage in this behavior or this thought or this feeling, and I would like to be free and to not be powerless over this. And then I choose to be this new way. I see people living and breathing and being this way, and this is the way I choose to go. So it's been this evolution. It seems like it's been helpful since I've been transparent. However, at the same time, I'm still like alone in this. It's just like me and God kind of thing. So I do pray, and I'm experiencing that longing feeling again of just having like a family and having that like intimate connection. And I'm seeing that that is a huge core reason why I have originally turned online also, since I was like a child, right? I was given a computer at like second grade. And so like I've been turning to these alternative networks for these different dopamine, right? That stimulus, and also being seen, being heard, being watched also seems to be a very interesting theme. And I learned that too while being a professional caregiver. I couldn't help but notice at a park one time that while I was there with the client, that a child was like begging for the parents to look at the child, and the child's sibling was being watched. And then this helped me, from being a witness, I was able to notice all the times I wasn't watched. And because I wasn't watched, I learned so many things and I did so many things. And then also, I can't lie, like there's a spirit of rebellion where even where I was told not to do things, I still provoked and I still pursued those things. And sometimes that came from myself, where I knew I should not have engaged, and then I continued to engage. And so I'm still like in this process of developing and following procedures, you could say, of like, okay, so I made this mistake, and then these are the consequences. And so now what's the appropriate way of moving forward? And so it can be a little sickening and overwhelming. However, I'm just doing the best that I can. And there's a part of me that absolutely would love to just go into hiding. I feel like it's also really important right now, though, to kind of actually I feel like, let me rephrase this, I guess. I feel like both are important. I think it's important for me to have my alone time right now and to really be with myself and to figure this out. And I also feel like it's important to also have like family, to have like support and understanding, and like someone to talk to who's like not after getting something out of it, or doesn't have improper motives and intentions for themselves, you could say. That there's an interest of like, Trina, what do you need? And like really being willing to do that for me, and not because of a story that they'll tell about themselves, or there's so many different wrong motives. And I'm looking for it to just not be perverted and to just have like genuine connections. And I guess like one of my strongest end goals would be to have like, again, like a spiritual family, like a real family, like has nothing to do with like blood, has nothing to do with being part of the same people who like the same music, right? There's no conditions, like true unconditional love. And I've had this vision for like a really long time, and I'm seeing the root cause, and perhaps this part of myself will also evolve. However, again, it's just been kind of like sensory overload, like stimming very stimulating, and sensory overload. And so again, just taking the time to process. Thank you so much for listening. I'm very happy to get this all out, and mainly like get it moving through my body, and like talking about it a little bit, and kind of like speaking to some special people that are here, and like we don't really talk all that much except for when you come here, and you know who you are. You live in Florida, some of you, and yeah, I'm very guilty of not calling you directly and letting anyone know when anything's wrong. I've learned to not do that, and perhaps I should unlearn this. But I also like in a process of learning to be on my own, and to really learn to sit with the feeling instead of escaping from feeling uncomfortable. So thank you.